My content ever since I gave my life to Christ has completely changed. I'm not going to talk about the same things that I used to. I'm not going to do the same things that I used to. I'm not the same person. You know what I'm saying? So somebody even said, yeah, she doesn't talk about sneaky links anymore. She's not a fun person anymore. And that's just fine. That's okay.
You tempted us enough to start doing what you were doing. But now all of a sudden you've turned a new leaf, a new chapter, and you're now together with Jesus. Is it fair on us as people? So what up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Luke and I'm joined by...
Yes, what it do, guys? It's Chris, but you already knew that. Welcome back to the channel.
So today we're going to be looking, we're going to narrow it down a bit, because there's this trend or Christian era that has overtaken the influencer space, right? Be it here in South Africa, more especially in the US.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at someone who was featured in our reaction last week. So she has undergone, what's this, a whole...
Transformation? I don't know if that's an extreme way of putting it.
No, it's not an extreme. Yeah, it's transformation, where she's simply talking about God, and she's emphasizing so much on sound advice.
I got saved. I got baptized a week ago. So half of the information that I'll be giving out is something that I've prayed about, because I did go through the comments and I've prayed about it, and I've asked God to guide me and answer truthfully. And more than anything, God to be at the center of, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not all about Jesus this, Jesus that, you are more than welcome to leave, because I don't want to bombard people and people feel like they have to consume my content by force. It's not by her. It's not by her.
In the previous videos, of course, she was showcasing another character. Like her back then in that video compared to her now, two different people.
No, like you guys have...
Dude, I've been having one person for the past 3 years. We good like that.
Get married.
No, he's married. No. Guys, I'm sorry. There's no love without money. In my books, personally, I will not love you if you don't have money.
You wouldn't even recognize that it's her.
You wouldn't, because you remember back in the video where she was featuring Xoli.
Yeah, Michali.
Yes. Yeah. She was putting so much emphasis on like materialism, how you need to get a guy that has money. It was all material.
Exactly.
Right?
She called herself a material girl in that video.
That's what she did. And she can't just be sitting. She needs to be flown out.
Yep.
All that type of thing. And not only that, further into the video, she admits that she was dating a married man for 3 years. And she laughed about it. Right?
Yeah. That was like the joke of their little interaction. Exactly.
So now emphasis are more on the intrinsic, not extrinsic. Is that? Intrinsic and extrinsic.
Yeah. Extrinsic versus intrinsic.
Right? Those words always catch me out.
No, that's how you say it. That's how you say it.
Yeah. Those words are always complicated. Sure. Yeah. Extrinsic, not those values. It's more intrinsic values. So she's emphasizing on all this. Okay. Like, as a woman, you need to value yourself, put yourself first. You need to give you 100. If he does this for you, she's admitting that she cooks for a man.
Wow.
She does this. She's not all about that feminist business and that, you know. And she's at the point where she really wants a serious relationship.
Proper. No, that's great.
Exactly. So you can see two different people.
Absolutely, bro. In that one video, she was outrageous, wasn't she?
She was, bro.
She was really outrageous on some. She wants to be flown out. She's a material girl. But I think you get the idea, right? In her changing to what she is now, seemingly, I mean, damn, does that... Well, I guess we're going to unpack that, right? We're going to
unpack that. So, guys, let's watch this video. Then we'll start from there.
So yes, you might feel pressured because especially of what you see on Instagram, but you don't know how these people give these things. And 90% of it, it's spams. So if you are willing to sell your soul, if you are willing to sleep with them, if you are willing to do all of these things, then you can have the most softest life because of sugar daddies. But nothing is for free, my love. You will have to spread cheeks. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You will have to sleep with these people to get what you want. For them to give you what you want, you will have to sleep with them. So You must choose your battles. Do you want to sleep with these people, or do you just want to wait until you work so you can afford your own things? You don't have to be traumatic, have this traumatic experience of having to sleep with more than 7 people so that one can get you a bag, one can get you hair, one can get you one can give you 5,000, one can five people. All of them are giving you different things. You just go collecting spirits, sleeping all these people. Entirely up to you. You can take whatever I say and twist it into your own words. Fine, perfect, love it for you.
So already, just this is a summary of her before and
her now.
It's the same thing we're talking about. Like she's turned a new leaf and she's like, it's a new chapter in her life and she's God. Because she's not all about material anymore.
Yeah, I mean, she completely flipped the script right there. She's a lot more grounded in seemingly principles, in a taste or not. I wanted to say a distaste for materialism, but no. I mean, even she said that's not the case. It's not that she doesn't want these things. They're not the main things, or they're not the main attractions in her life anymore.
Exactly.
And they don't dictate the decisions she makes. And she went as far as saying that in her former life, because clearly that's her account, to get what you want, and especially if you want a lot of these things. So the question I think that was posed to her was, were you peer pressured into soft life? And I don't know, man. Like her answer,
she didn't actually answer.
She didn't answer
because she contradicts herself as it goes on.
She didn't really answer the question. Yeah. She just said, "No, I wasn't peer pressured
into like getting sugar daddies.
However, I do know that if you want A, you should do B."
Exactly. But later on, she spoke about how she wanted this materialistic thing. So therefore, we can conclude based on what she gave us later, even in as much as at the beginning she didn't admit it. But of course, as it goes on, she admits that she was pressured because she would look at influencers and stuff like that, and being pressured into that, whole toxic lifestyle and everything like that. So now my question is simple, all right? Is it really fair that as a creator, as an influencer, as a role model to people online, because a lot of people watched her for years,
the 17, 18-year-olds, please do not rush into this soft life thing that you see on social media. It's all just a facade. I'll keep my thing brief, especially with South African influencers. We are chasing payments every single day of our damn lives. Yes, we make money, but it's not the type of money that you see us riding in yachts and doing this and doing that. Baby, some of these things are contributed by the people in our lives. Guys, I am not going to lie to you. Influencers do not make that type amount of money that people think that they really are. We make money, yes, but some of the things really do come from people that care about us. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I love being with a man that takes care of me and buy me stuff, because that's just the life I love, and I want for myself.
I mean, for the longest, you gave us advice contrary to what you're preaching now. Is it fair to us as an audience, seeing that you gave us advice that in one way or another, or you portrayed yourself, it might not even be advice, you portrayed yourself in a way that somehow propelled us into that influencer type of lifestyle? You tempted us enough to start doing what you were doing, but now all of a sudden you've turned a new leaf, a new chapter, and you're now together with Jesus. Is it fair on us as people?
That's a very valid question, because we're often made to understand that we, especially as content creators, that our audience grows with us.
They do.
As we mature, so do they. So the caliber of content that we put out has to be suited to them. So if we found them at this particular level, by the time we get to that level, we'd assume that they're at that level too, right? Because then they're consuming our content and they're growing with us. So to answer that question, on a surface level, one can assume that yes, she's taken at least a portion of her people with her, right? But would it be fair, let's say, that she's gotten herself a core audience, and she knows what she is putting out, and it appeals to these people. Would it be fair to these people to all of a sudden accept the switch, right? The dynamic switch. Now they're being presented with a moral compass. They're being presented with a new version, which is great. I mean, I love that for her.
Which is okay.
It begs the question: where does that leave her audience? I mean, surely they're in a bit of a tricky situation now, aren't they?
Yeah, no, bro. You stuck in between two worlds.
Yeah, man, you're between a rock and a hard place on this one now.
Exactly, because you like, okay, cool. So there's that now. Is this telling me to change my life as well? Since she's, changed her life. I mean, bro, whether we like it or not, influencers have influence, right? On a lot of people's opinions, a lot of people's ways of thinking, mental disposition, a lot of people's lifestyle and choices. Influencers have an influence on that, whether we like it or not. So seeing an influencer all of a sudden embrace a new Christian journey and enter this Christian era, for me, that's quite disingenuous. Look, bro, I do understand the part of we grow and we learn, but to some extent, it's a bit disingenuous.
It's been eventful. People are like, apelile managere, akona maningi, akona maningi, but so don't think, guys, don't think siyashelwa. I'm a fucking beautiful woman. Ngiyashelwa. Day in, day out. But I can't. It's not easy anymore, because you are not, but you are guided by the Holy Spirit. Like, I think on 4 occasions I've given people a wrong number and I don't see it until I see these people again, and I feel like me seeing them again is God showing me that this is not your doing, it's me. I make you forget your own numbers so that you don't have to give these people a number, so you don't have to talk to them, because he's not the one.
That's why in the last video I said I respect her views when she said, I'm a material girl and I like money because I've got money. I was like, I'm all for that. I respect that.
Yeah, that's okay.
I respected you saying it and coming out and actually saying it.
Yeah.
But then in doing that, we've got to hold you accountable for saying that, right?
We have to.
We need to.
We have to.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
Okay? So then if I need to hold you accountable, I need to do so in the same way that you presented it. So that means if I should have to say anything bad about what you're saying, it's got to be on your platform, okay? So now, if the same platform that I need to use, by I mean the society, the community, whatever,
yeah,
if the same platform that I'm going to use to hold you accountable for what you say is the same platform that you're going to use to play the Uno reverse card on me, where can you see now that it kind of waters down my holding you accountable somewhat?
Yeah. If you add a rebuttal, it actually automatically just waters down a rebuttal.
Straight up.
What do they say? I don't know if I can actually attach it to straw manning a person.
Could be.
It's sort of like, we can't hold you accountable. It's like you detach yourself from your opinion. It's like, no, that was my past, but this is me. But we tell you, no, but your opinion was overall toxic and the lifestyle you portrayed was toxic. And look at the damage it has done. Whether you like it or not, you've actually contributed to the damage. We're not saying overall you are to blame for the damage and the chaos society is in, and the mentality, people's mentality is so superficial. No, we're not saying that. We're just saying in one way or another, you have to acknowledge that you played a part in somehow, pushing this agenda as well.
Do you think that, I mean, if you're a savvy content creator or an influencer, you understand trends, you understand the times, you understand metrics, so that means that you would be smart enough to make a decision based on some of those factors?
Yes.
And can't we argue then that some of those decisions would then kind of direct where or what your next step would be?
There's a high probability.
Exactly.
Because remember, this is bread. We're chasing bread after at the end of the day.
If we see that this is something that is, number one, no longer appropriate,
it won't sell.
It won't sell anymore. And secondly, this might come back to haunt me, right? I need to make sure that I build firewalls very quickly and get rid of this. Like, let this die down as quickly as possible. And then how else can I do that? Probably I'd need something so radical that it makes so much noise now that you're almost inclined to forget about what happened before and
That's
look at
another
what's
thing.
happening now.
Exactly.
And even better, look at what's gonna happen in the future, right? Possibly.
There's a high probability she wants to attract a different type of audience. And not only that, previous to that, there's that video where she's like crying and talking about relationship, and now she wants something very serious.
Thank God my relationship brought me closer to God. Bless. My relationship brought me closer to God. But also, it's that thing of, am I not worthy? You know? Like, am I not worthy of having something or having someone that is mine? Bless the beauty of friendships. Oh my God, I truly love it. But every day you think or you see the one thing that you're yearning for, the one thing that you absolutely would love to have, and God takes it away, and then you just like, but why? Why put me through so much heartache? You know?
What about the many people who have now become fervent followers of yours and are hell-bent? They're on the warpath when it comes to this. Do you expect them to turn over a new leaf as well?
That's a good question. Now, in all this, bro, who takes is it the barrel of the blame? Is that what you say? The brunt of the brain?
Yeah, who takes the brunt of this blame here?
Exactly. So who takes the bigger chunk out of this?
It has to be the creator.
Do you think it's not the audience? No, think about it. Okay, this is the reason why I personally would choose the audience, right? It's because you are so gullible and susceptible that you don't have values of your own, that you let an influencer or a person you've never really met going through their journey, their personal journey in this life, that is influenced by different circumstances and different situations, motivated by you never know what, right? Maybe sufferings at home, and all of a sudden you as an individual who might not even relate to them on the basis of background, situations, you know, whatever factors that might have contributed to that creator's whole journey or villain, you know,
the villain story.
Villain story. Yeah, exactly. So you don't have anything in common. It is so dumb of you as the audience to somehow embrace their perspective to life. I know they might have certain values to it. They might be valid, but oftentimes as an audience, you shouldn't really be gullible and susceptible to the point where you forget that there are various factors that, like, you know, influence and motivate people into have that villain origin. It's different. So for me on this one, I would say the audience has to be blamed like 90% of the time, because it's just ridiculous. Also, another thing is it's the youth.
And that's where I was going to say.
That's where I think my point also falls short, because it's the youth.
That's true, bro, and that's where my point comes in. If we're going to say 90% of the blame goes to the audience, this is where the 10% goes to the creator, because you need to understand your audience. If you're in a position where you can influence a lot of people, you tend to forget about the responsibility that comes with that.
True.
As much as you have a platform, never forget that you've got a responsibility. Now, if you're going to be speaking to impressionable young minds, young people who some can actually relate with you because maybe they're the same age as you, maybe they're from the same country, speak the same language, whatever. There's a bunch of factors that can make you relate to these people. You need to think more carefully about that, because then your words truly have power in that sense. What you say is the equivalent of gospel to somebody who relates with you strongly and in a way sees you as a role model. So that's where the blame kind of goes to the influencer or the creator themselves, because the name it doesn't beat around the bush, Influencer. They named it perfectly. There's no euphemism there at all, bro.
From a cultural perspective.
On a cultural perspective, They are trendsetters, quite literally.
Exactly. So if that's the case, then I think this saying applies, right? Where it says, be aware that teachers will be judged much more harshly. Don't you think as a Christian now, she should take that and embrace it so dearly?
She mustn't take that with a pinch of salt, I'll tell you what. That is quite literally gospel for her now, and she would do well to remember that. You know, we're not saying that she must remember that she did this in the past, she's susceptible to condemnation.
Not really that.
Because that's not what Christianity is about, right? It's about hope. It's about the fact that even if you messed up, there's hope for you. There's salvation. Great. That's amazing.
Sure.
That's the best thing about it, okay?
Yeah.
And that's good for her that she's decided to go this way, personally.
No,
I think.
Personally, well, it's the best thing she could have done. Like, it's one of the best things. A lot of people need, we always preach for this.
We are.
That we actually need voices in the dark. We need voices of experience, voices with so much experience. So when she speaks, she's not speaking from a point of just randomly creating scenarios in her head. She's talking from experience.
Exactly. It's different. It's really different. But then that begs the question, is it an era only?
That's the question. I guess that's the reason why we're talking about this. Because we saw it with Kanye.
Jesus, Father God, spread the love. Put the love in our hearts. And know that we are not each other's enemy, but we're all children of you. And you can bring this world to a peaceful place on earth as it is in heaven. In Jesus' name, amen. Love you guys.
Thank you, Kanye.
He had a Christian era from 2016 up until very recently.
Which I personally, from the very beginning, stated it that this is a marketing stunt. This is a marketing approach. Because he got an album that was Christian and he wanted to sell it. It was Jesus what?
Jesus is King. Yeah, it was a dope album, bro. I love that album.
Exactly. But how do you sell it to people that don't really believe in God like that? You can't. So what do you need to do? You need to sell it to people that believe in God. So that means you will somehow adjust yourself in a manner that is acceptable to this audience. And voila, you're selling off.
And here, I think this is where your point carries so much relevance. Is it fair on the audience? Because as a Kanye West fan, I've listened to almost all his music. Hey? Yeah, basically. But I've listened to Kanye's catalog. And right before Jesus is King, there was Life of Pablo, right? Now, that album I loved. But then in that album, he started exploring some Christian themes. It's like he was easing you into it. He was still strategically, like at certain points, he'd ease you into the whole Christian thing. He starts off the album with a prayer by Kirk Franklin, like this one interlude. And then there's a few songs in there where he's professing his faith very subtly, right? So then when he was in his Christian era, as a fan who knew what Kanye West was about, the question is, did I feel left behind? Can I be dead honest with you? Yeah.
You did, no?
I did. To some extent, I couldn't really relate as much because I'd be like, not to say I'm not Christian, right? But I was like, imagine if I wasn't, right? And I'm still a Kanye fan.
An atheist.
I'd feel like, okay, so he's trying to attract a new audience, but he's forgotten about me because I've been listening since graduation and since all of that.
Exactly. But remember, he doesn't really care much about you because guess what? For one of you, he's getting about maybe 100 more people.
But here's the thing. He knows that I'll come back to listen because, immediately after Jesus is King, I knew he was going to drop another album. But the question in the back of my head was, is it going to still be in the Christian era? Will he still think about the old Kanye fans? And then he dropped Donda. And guess what? 50-50, bro. It's like, I got you already. Like, I know you're a fan already. So you're going to listen to this album. But I've got a new fan base as well.
Isn't that deception?
Boom. I'm going to give you guys this album. And I know you all of y'all are going to listen to it.
Isn't that... It's deception.
I thought it was clever, bro.
Personally, bro, it's deception. It's big. For me, I classify that and I put it into the same place as deception.
I'd say it was slick.
It was slick, but it was manipulation, deception. My advice to a lot of people is, you know what? For the sake of you and for the sake of just being you, please develop mental, fortitude, impervious. Let your mind not just let in any advice. Develop a philosophy for yourself, a moral campus, build it from scratch that you live by, so that you're not swayed by this advice, this one said this one said this, oh, I think this might work. And every time this thing just keeps on blowing in your face, you follow this one's advice, it blows in your face. Because the thing is, I'm relatable. Like I've said before, I personally don't take advice from people that are much more privileged. That's me, because you can't relate. It's the same thing we say, you can't take, a woman cannot tell a man how to be a man. You can't relate.
And conversely, a man cannot tell a woman how to be a woman.
Exactly. We can't relate to each other.
I've never been a woman for even one day.
Exactly.
So I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't be like, yeah, a woman should. No.
What do you mean? When was I a woman last?
Exactly. So if I speak on women, I'll tell you what values I prefer as an individual.
Personally.
Yeah, I'm not generalizing it.
Personally.
Why? Because I've developed a campus for myself, a philosophy by which I live by, and I have expectation and preferences. So I personally, for me, that's my encouragement to you guys, because it's crazy. If you listen to these influencers, you will be doomed and you will go berserk. That's why people will just scam you. You'll be scammed. And now here we are having to do the job of who's disingenuous and who's vulnerable, who's gullible here.
I mean, we could even find out that this was not disingenuous. I really want to believe that this wasn't disingenuous.
I hope so. Xoli. I'm saying it right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All the best to Xoli. It's beautiful to see.
One time.
I mean, it's the best thing to see. A person who used to be all about material, now all of a sudden embracing Jesus and embracing a moral ground that has so much emphasis on the internal rather than the external. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to see. So that's what we have to say. Please don't forget to leave your comments. What do you think? Do you think we should follow influencers religiously to the point of thinking that they are the end it, the be it? What do you say? The beginning? No. The
end all and be all.
Exactly. The end all and be all. Do you think so? Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video and don't forget to share. And we will be seeing you on the next one. And don't forget to check out our last videos. Ciao.